Hi, it's Dwyer, gamblersadvisory.com, dwyervip.com. Remember, the opinion you should follow should be your own. Just consider this video to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online. Also, for discounts on fanduel.com, the promo code is Dwyer777 for new accounts. Well, I know right now they're celebrating in the UK, and I'm not complaining. Understand, Tony Bellew by stoppage was part of my hedge, not my desired part. I would have rather have gotten the 6-1 odds on BJ Flores winning the fight. But Bellew by stoppage delivered, right? So I'm okay. I made a profit on this fight. But let me say this, while everyone's out celebrating, just understand, this is a low blow fight. This is a fight that turns on a referee's error, right? This fight, quite frankly, is reminiscent of Floyd Mayweather against Victor Ortiz. Now, I know Tony looked good, and it was great theater after the fight when he tries to approach David Haye. That was great stuff. If you're a boxing fan, right after the fight is A+ material. Bellew is definitely charismatic. But understand, everything Bellew does in this fight flows from the low blow that he lands in the second round. It's clearly a low blow. Let's hope the press is on this. He lands a low blow. I don't know what the British announcers were doing on the live telecast because they don't even mention it. But it's a low blow. Flores, who has won the first round, right? Incredibly, Flores comes out aggressively for him, right? He's won the first round. Flores stops what he's doing, right? Now, I know it's a mistake by him. One of the creeds in boxing is protect yourself at all times, but understand, Flores gets hit low, and it's mind-blowingly low, right? You know, his belt is here, the shot's down here. Flores gets hit low, he stops. He turns to the ref. He's looking at the ref. Basically, what Flores is trying to do is communicate to the ref, look, I've been hit with a low blow, right? Give me some time. As he looks at the ref, it's at that point, in a fight up to that point, in my opinion, that Flores is winning. Folks, it's only a 3-round fight, right? It's at that point that Tony Bellew steps forward and wings some wide shots, right? We'll call them some Deontay Wilder wild shots when he gets up close, that hit Flores on the side of the head, effectively ending his equilibrium. He's not the same after that. Understand, Bellew doesn't get the opportunity to land those clean shots unless Flores drops his hands because he's been hit below the waist. Now, it's kind of sad because I understand refs don't stop fights after every low blow. But this one's bad. It's so bad that Flores goes from fighting to looking at the ref and dropping his hands. Now, it's a mistake by him. But what I'd like to know is, what is the sanctioning body going to do? Right? I believe Flores, at a minimum, needs to file some kind of appeal, because there is the possibility, if they look at the film, slow it down and look at the film, that the sanctioning body realizes that their champ just beat a guy because of a low blow, right? Stuff like this is not supposed to happen. I know it's happened millions of times in the past. I remember Fernando Vargas looking great against Felix Trinidad. Revisit that fight years ago. And then Trinidad in trouble, starting to land some low blows. Change that fight. Well, here, understand, it's a wicked low blow. Right? The mistake Flores makes is by stopping what he's doing. Right? Maybe what he should have done, and I'm not sure if boxing wants to encourage this, is to hit Bellew low. Just to have the ref then wake up and say, hey, I need to restore order. Let me separate these guys. Instead, he turns to the ref. The ref looks baffled. Then Bellew steps in and has a guy who has his hands down. Right? Flores then falls face first on the canvas, based on shots that Bellew's able to deliver on a fighter who's not defending himself because he's hurting below the waist. Look, man, we've all been there. You get hit in the right spot and, oh man, traffic stops, right? You're like, oh, wait a moment. I need to clear my head, right? The house is on fire. You get hit in the wrong spot. You're going to say, oh, look, man, the fire's going to have to wait. I got to clear my head. Here, BJ Flores gets hit in the wrong spot, right? He turns to the referee. I mean, literally stops what he's doing, turns to the referee. He's looking at the ref. That's when Bellew steps up, starts winging shots to the side of the head. Nothing takes out your equilibrium more than a shot right above the ear on the temple. Never recovers. Right? Not the same fighter. Looks wobbly the rest of the second round. I know the press is going to say, hey, Bellew, multiple knockdowns. Comes out in the third round, looks okay, but doesn't quite look as good as he did at the start of the fight. Now, I don't know if the press is going to do their job and focus on the low blow, right? And I'm sure gamblers who had Bellew by KO as part of their portfolio, they couldn't care less, right? I'm sure as I make this video, they're in line ready to collect. But if you're interested in Tony Bellew, right, who fought a fight that wouldn't succeed against David Haye, let's be real here. First round, Bellew's on his back foot. Isn't that what Haye wants? If you're going to beat Haye, you have to be a Derek Chisora type bull, but a little bit more creative than Derek Chisora. Right? Haye has many guys in the graveyard parts of his resume that stayed outside, didn't do much, and Haye was able to measure them. Right? I do believe Tony, if he fights an inside fight, has a shot on Haye. He didn't do that here. Tony's not inside until he hits the guy below the waist. Then Tony's living inside, right? Then Tony's winging wide shots. He's coming inside. He's looking great, right? That's because he has a guy whose third leg's injured. Right? So, I can't wait for Haye Bellew. I personally feel this is Bellew's last fight, and I mean this, at cruiserweight, because Usyk, too dangerous. Public doesn't know who he is. That's one of the other champs at cruiser, right? If I'm Bellew, I'm thinking, look, man, I'm 33, right? The heavyweight division couldn't be more disorganized now that Tyson Fury's out of the picture. Right? Vladimir Klitschko doesn't have a belt. Anthony Joshua does. Deontay Wilder does. Right? Guys like Joseph Parker, Green, fighting Andy Ruiz for titles. Right now, Bellew can step into that. Right? And Bellew could say, hey, let me pick an opportunity. Right? Bellew's box office. Let me get a fighter in the United Kingdom. Right? Let me become a contender by beating David Haye if he can. Right? If he can't, at least the brother's getting paid for that fight, isn't he? Right? So let me also say too, I know Kell Brook is keeping people guessing on whether he's going to drop back down. Cautionary tale. How did dropping back down in weight work out for Roy Jones Jr.? I'm just telling you, a 33-year-old Tony Bellew, if he decides to gain 20 pounds, to beat 220 at heavyweight, right? He's 6'3". He's never going to lose those 20 pounds to fight a cruiserweight ever again, right? So he's calling out David Haye for a reason. Part of it's the money, part of it's the glamour, right? Cruiserweight champ, as I said, some people, when Tony walks down the street, I'm sure say, hey, there's the cruiserweight champ, right? If he's the heavyweight champ, he's going to draw a crowd, right? Part of it's the glamour of the heavyweight division. I believe another part of it, though, is being 6'3", 33 years old, and trying to keep yourself at 200 pounds, right? Look at how Tony looks in this fight. You cannot tell me that Bellew, when he entered the ring for this fight against BJ Flores, weighed 200 pounds, right? So, let me say this. Hey, most impressive part of Bellew's performance tonight was him leaving the ring and trying to mouth off with David Haye right after he was awarded the fight, right? But please, don't tell me that BJ Flores, who has gone the distance against many a tough opponent, would have been stopped in the third round but for the awful underline low blow that Tony, in my opinion, looks like he deliberately hit him with in the second round of a fight in which Bellew lost the first round, in which Flores came out motivated by BJ Flores standards, right? What I want people to do too is, after the first round is over, look at the beginning of the second round. Flores practically races to the middle of the ring, doesn't he? The round starts, Flores is already in the middle of the ring. Flores knew he won the first round, right? Flores is out for the second round. He's like, look, man, you know, if you think I'm here to be passive, you're wrong. I'm here tonight, right? He was there tonight until he got hit where the sun don't shine, right? Understand, low blows are so serious that even when it looks a little questionable, in many a fight, Hopkins, Calzaghe, right? The ref will say, hey, let's give this guy not 10 seconds, not 30 seconds, not 1 minute. They'll say, hey, let's give this guy 5 minutes to recover from the shot. Here, 1 minute, BJ Flores is up fighting. The next minute, he's like looking around, right? He's looking at the ref. He's like, hey, man, you know, of course, Bellew doesn't hesitate, right? Bellew obviously has watched the Floyd Mayweather film on how Floyd dealt with Victor Ortiz looking at Joe Cortez, right? Bellew just steps up. And Bellew doesn't step up with a jab, right? He steps up, he's winging shots. He knows this is a rare opportunity, right, to throw some winging shots on BJ Flores. To me, that's the fight in a nutshell. Everything that happens after that moment is the fruit of a foul, right? Wouldn't happen that way but for the foul. BJ Flores puts on his game face when he gets off the canvas. You know the guy was hurting below the waist. You know he wasn't himself. Just the way he hits the canvas, right? Face first. When have you seen BJ Flores do that? Then he hits the canvas the second time. Doesn't even look like he was hit that hard in that second round. So, Bellew won. Okay, great. I want the sanctioning body to look at this. For the crowd that feels I have sour grapes, please go back to my pre-fight video. My hedge was Bellew by KO. Right? It was Bellew by KO. Right? So I'm okay. Trust me on that. Right? Also, if you wanted to fool around with over-unders, the under 8.5 rounds was a plus 165, as hardcore gamblers know here. So I'm okay. I'm okay on this fight. But boxing's not okay. Right, guys? You know, just the fact that I'm here remembering Felix Trinidad's tainted win over El Flores, Fernando Vargas, more than a decade ago, is an indication of the bad taste that fights like this, where a guy wins on a low blow, leaves in your mouth for years. Right? Let's hope, at least I hope, the sanctioning bodies have the common sense to at least call this a no contest. Take the loss off Flores' record. Understand, Flores is in his later 30s now. I think he's 37 or something. Right? You can't have this officially go down in the books the way it's gone down today. Right? Somebody's got to look at the film and somebody's got to see the low blow and say, whoa, hold it. Hold it now. Was Flores given an opportunity to recover from the foul? If the answer is no, if he's face first on the canvas, something like 10 seconds later, right? To me, this fight needs to be revisited. Anyway, that's how I see it. I know there are a lot of Bellew fans out there. Trust me, I know he's charismatic, right? Loved him in Creed. The guy has a certain presence, a certain persona. I think a fight with David Haye would be box office gold because both of these guys, you know, come across as colorful characters, right? Hey, Tony, you know, Tony's the more exciting personality when it comes to BJ Flores. So I know a lot of people in boxing are going to say, hey, why do we want to revisit this? Right? The why is because the sport has rules. Right? Low blows aren't allowed. You shouldn't be able to win fights on low blows. That's how I see it. Let me hear from you. I'm curious to hear what BJ Flores has to say in post-fight interviews and stuff like that. Let me hear from you. I hope you leave your comments in the comment section to this video. Thanks for stopping by.